Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. Y'all, this is Seth, the speaker here. For those of you that don't know what we do up in the den, y'all, we talk about all things leadership, growth, and development with a call to action. All right, so if this is a place for you, what's going on, let us know where you're at. So chime in no matter where you're watching this from. Make sure you're subscribing and that you connect with us. Let us know where you at up in the building, United States and overseas. Okay, we're doing this for you and for your friends and family. I want to make sure that everyone understands not only what we do and the reasons behind it. The Lion's Den was birthed with the intent to mentor with me and other brothers in the United States Air Force. All right. And it's crazy how it seems as though individuals, when they get together and they get a little bit of num juice right, they can solve the world's problems. But then we realized that the things that we were saying were truly sober thoughts. And so someone had the bright idea to get a microphone. And then the microphone grew to 4 microphones and then into a live studio. And then we have the opportunity to have a live studio audience. But so after the live studio audience, something happened called COVID-19. Y'all remember that thing? But what we didn't do is let that stop us. So 3 years strong, here we are still getting it in and connecting with outstanding individuals. But it all starts with a intent to continue to serve in your own unique way. And I would never have been able to do it with not just you, your support, but also the brothers up in the den. What's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
Look at it, Lord. It is what it is. Big Larry, how's your weekend, bro?
Weekend's been pretty chill, man. We did our first Friday's thing with you on Friday night at the VFW, and then today, man, my wife took me to get a pedicure today, man. Take care of my feet.
Look at it. Hey, it wasn't like on Martin, right? It wasn't nobody had to put on the goggles.
No chainsaws and none of that, man. They actually took care of me. They took care of me.
That's good. That's good. So how they feel, man? How them dogs feel now?
Hey, them dogs feel real good and they look good. Shit.
There you go. There you go. Big Herm. What's popping, bro?
Man, everything is good over here, man.
Yeah.
I really can't complain about nothing except for the way my cheeks is looking right now, man. But I did eat a sandwich before the show, so I'm gonna blame it on that. You know what I mean?
Right on. Listen, what we ain't gonna talk about.
Come on, man.
Issue. But look, man, but this weekend, man, I think we're all some active brothers out in here, right, in the community and connecting. So the way Larry was talking about, right? We in the VFW getting it in. I do First Fridays DJing, but we like party with the purpose, right? So when they give individuals the opportunity to bring some canned goods and everything, so we can help give back to food banks, all right? Then the next day, I had the outstanding opportunity to speak for the reservist unit on base, the 932nd, to talk about energy and spiritual vampires, y'all. Super, super dope. You see all their eyes light up like, wait a minute, I might be one of them vampires sucking the life out of people. And then we had the opportunity afterwards to go to the Lowe's outside the base to pass out poppies and do donations, right, for the VFW. So pack weekend. But what was you doing today? Not today, but this weekend, Herm? I saw you.
Well, so you know, I'm the manager for my local community center, right?
Yeah.
We had a Veterans Day event, you know what I'm saying, that had a really good show out, you know what I'm saying, to honor the vets. I'm from a military city, you know what I mean? There's a lot of military folks here, so we had a pretty good turnout come out to honor the vets, man. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It was my very first Veterans Day event since I retired.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, dang, they really did it. I might have to come to more of these things.
Come to more and do more. You know what I'm talking about? Man, get it up in there. But look, everybody, hit the share button, y'all. Hit the share button, y'all. We got an outstanding guest. And, we talk about all types of things as far as the growth and development within the community. And we have different individuals on that speak to it a little bit or within their lane, right? And which is super, super dope. But this brother here, y'all, Mr. Dwight Price, I'm gonna just give you a little bit about it, right? So he can tell you more about himself, but I'm just gonna lay out the groundwork. So anyway, he's originally, okay, y'all, originally from Lincoln Heights, Ohio. All right, this brother here, he's out in the community, he's getting it in, and he is a strong believer in Corinthians 13:11, if y'all know what that is. And here, let me make sure I put on my preacher's voice.
Let's do it.
Yo, when I was a child, wait a minute,
man, we going to hell, man.
Hey, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, understood as a child, thought as a child, but when I became a man, what he said, I put away childish things. Now listen, all jokes aside, we have individuals that talk about things like that, but it's not many that's truly about that life, right? So this is what I want to do. I'm gonna let him tell a little bit more about his story, but y'all give him a nice digital round of applause for Mr. Dwight Price. Hey, yo. What up, homie? How you feeling, bro?
What's up with it? I'm good. How about yourself, brother?
Man, slow motion, man. So look, man, when I was out in Maryland, man, for that event, and we talked very briefly, I said, you know what? This brother here got to be in the den. You get what I'm saying? Because of having that powerful message and also having that servitude. You get what I'm saying? And that desire to help out and connect with the community. So explain to the den who you are in your own words.
Okay, my name is Dwight Price. Right now, I have a few LLCs, but most importantly, I'm giving back to the youth. So I'm trying to do public speaking. I have some kids that I'm mentoring in Cincinnati. I'm trying to just really get out here to change the mindset in the Black community of the things that I feel like we might be doing too much of. I feel like it's a lot of indulging in the streets. Even the music come to play, drinking, just some of the things that, parents show their kids. So I'm ultimately trying to go out here, tell my story to show some of these youngsters that even if they make mistakes, you can bounce back from that mistake. I definitely made a mistake in my life, and that got me to the point of right now, but I got the validation to tell the kids I've been in the streets before, but it's not just for the kids in the streets, because anybody can make a bad decision or a bad choice. And sometimes those choices can cost you.
Right on. We love that.
Check it out. Hey, Dwight, first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming onto the show. You know what I'm saying? You talked about being in the streets and all that, and we really haven't got into what you mean by being in the streets and the streets costing you. Let's talk a little bit about what the streets really cost you, right? In the backstage, you talked about doing some real time. So you're not just talking about you're not just talking it. You know what I'm saying? You actually experienced a lot of stuff to a tone of, I think, 17 years, if I'm not mistaken. Can you tell the audience what exactly landed you there, and what was that experience like behind bars? What did you reflect on while you was there for 17 freaking years?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what happened in my life came up, like I say, a poor community, man. Lincoln Heights, it was real poor. My father gave me the game. He taught me how to hustle. So I came up, he was a crack addict, so he taught me how to sell crack so I could rush him, he'd bring licks to me and I get him a little something for doing it. So, just being in the streets, man, just, really trying to take care of myself. My mother was an alcoholic, and I was just kind of out there trying to do a little something for my brothers and sisters. So I was selling dope at a young age. I ended up being involved in a murder case. Well, actually, I was sitting in the van when the crime occurred around the corner from me. So I knew about a robbery that was going to be committed, but the robbery ended up turning into a homicide. So, due to me having knowledge of what was going on and not leaving the scene of the crime while my partners was around the corner, I ended up getting caught up for a murder case. So that's what I went to jail for at the age of 17. I went to jail for aggravated murder and voluntary manslaughter. Took a plea bargain for involuntary manslaughter.
Wow. Hey, Dwight, I got like 5 questions already out of that, but I want to go back to your background real quick. I'm assuming you either 70s or 80s, baby.
77.
Somewhere in there. Which one is 77?
77.
Okay, got it. So you came up, I'm 83. So we came up in a sort of the same era. So where I want to go with this is, what was the influence like for you growing up as far as your childhood? Because I feel like our childhood is similar in nature, right? Friday nights was adult nights, right? You kids go somewhere and get the hell out of the way, right? So what was the influence like that got you into the street life, though? Is where I'm really trying to go to. Who was the influence? Was your uncles, your cousins? How did that shape out?
So I had an uncle who just recently passed away. He was actually a principal at a school. And I'm at his funeral. I spoke and I told him, like, he was really one of the only positive influences that I had in my life. I used to come, when I go to my aunt's house, he might come in from work carrying a briefcase. So I had a positive influence there. But when I went to my house, it was a lot of negativity, because like I said, my father, was in the streets. My mother was drinking alcohol. So one thing about the hood, when you grow up in the hood can be a gift and the hood can be a curse. Like a lot of my cousins, when we got out of school, they would go to football practice. So when you go to football practice, you're around coaches, people who really care about you. You take a study hall, things like that. But somebody like me, when I left school, I didn't play sports at that age. So when I went home, now I'm liable to see the part of the hood where I say the gift and the curse. The curse is, oh, look at little shorty, he too little. He can't play no ball or nothing. Hey, come here, I got something for you. Let me show you this game. Let me show you this hustle. So while my cousins at school playing football and getting that love and support from the coaches, I know went home the next 3-4 hours. Somebody put the pack in my hand and I'm out here getting some money. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here chasing that instant gratification. My cousins they playing ball on their way to college looking for the delayed gratification.
See, and I like this. I like the fact that you said that, and I am very familiar with that. So with that being said, what was it that caught your eye? All right, because even though what Larry has stated, you're growing up in the 80s and 90s or whatever the case is, there are still things that's pertinent today that these young men see. And women, right? These young kids, they gravitate to certain things and like, okay, cool, I want that right then and there. Right. Now, I remember how it was for me. I was to see brothers, looking nice, but not working. You dig? They was there all the time, chilling out and still getting money, still getting women and all this. I'm like, yo, what do they do? Where's the application for that? Now, for you, what was it that you saw that had you gravitate to that lifestyle?
So just like majority, the cars, you've seen the cars with the triple gold Dayton's coming on there, the drop tops, the guest outfits was in. So I remember one of my partners, he told me come get a job, filled out a job. We was porters at Dunkin' Donuts. So I remember I had to work for like 2 weeks and I was able to buy like the Guess jacket. I had to wait another 2 weeks to go back and get the Guess pants. But I'm seeing people that's wearing Guess every day. So it's like, well, what are they doing? The females on their team, because they got the money. They had the jewelry. They had everything. Right. So, and like I said, I did have some people around me that was, like, for instance, my girlfriend. I remember at the time, I seen somebody come past and he stopped and hit the switches in his car and looked over at me. So I looked at her I felt a certain way because she and I be walking right now, and I'm seeing her looking at this car. And she was like, "That's nothing. That car don't mean nothing to me. My daddy got it." So I had people that was trying to get me away from the streets, but I said, you know what? I want to give me some money. I want going to the NFL. I'm like 5'3". I want going to the NFL. So I said, I want to give me some money.
Good man. Good.
So now we understand. You know what I'm saying? What put you in there, which is wild. And what drew you into that life, right? What ultimately drew you out of that life? You spent 17 years, locked up. Now we about to move on to what is getting you to your point where you at today in the beginning stages, right? What did that look like for you when you like, you know what? I tried the street life, I had some success, but it got me locked up for this amount of time. I gave up so much of my life I'm never going to get back. It's time for a change. What did that look like for you?
So what it really looked like for me, because, I went to prison 3 times, right, to get to 17 and a half. I did 11, 6 months, and a little over 5 years. So when I was in there this past time, I grew really mentally. My oldest son, I had him right before I went to jail. He had became a police officer. And when I was like, when I went to his graduation, I didn't want any cameras to even see me. I was turning every which way not to be seen in the camera because my son, is a police officer. And I kind of was like, man, how could you fall, that far away from the tree? Like nobody in our family like went this direction. So I had to grow up like real quick. The last time I got out of jail, I had to grow up real quick because I said I should be proud of the fact my son is doing something that's better than what I was doing when I came up. So that means the times when I got out of prison and being in his, when I was in his life for a short period of time, I was able to instill some things into him so he can come up differently than the way I came up. I feel like our job as parents is to become a better parent to your children than your parents were to you. And I definitely accomplished that. I don't smoke. I don't drink. My kids don't. Even when I was in the streets hustling like that, my kids never seen anything because I never wanted my kids to go down that same path that I went down. So I said, when I get out, I'm definitely going to change my life. No matter what I got to do, I don't want to go back to that same street life. So I got out and like I said, started off with doing janitorial, but I ain't going to get that deep into the story yet. Hopefully I answered that question.
Yeah, you did, man. Most definitely.
And what I want to talk about, Dwight, is I want to talk about when did the green light go off for you, where you felt like change is needed, right? Because the street life was good to you. It had its ups and its downs. You served your time. And, in the hood, a lot of that is credibility, right? You go to prison, you street cred. Now, he the real one. He down for the cause. But when did that light go off for you where you was like, you know what, I can get money another way. Yeah, it's delayed. It's not the glamorous life that this street cred gets you or the street life gets you. But when did it go off that's like, yep, I'm doing a whole 180 right here?
Tired of getting that the rug snatched from underneath. One thing about the streets, man, when you come up in the streets, you can do everything right that you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, somebody else can do something and feel like, well, I'm gonna tell on this person so I can get out of trouble. So just you always in a balance of what somebody else want to do to you. And in our culture, the way we was raised is, you don't tell on nobody. You don't tell on nobody. You get caught up, your family, your friends gonna be like, yeah, you got caught with that. So we love you to death, but just go on to jail for them 30 years. You know what I'm saying? But you got the people who we deal with a lot of times, it might be the Mexicans. The Mexicans or Hispanics. They're sending drugs over here. They might tell their drivers like, hey, if anything ever happened to you, tell on the person you taking it to, and you still in good graces when you come back to me. So it's like at the end of the day, you're fighting a losing battle. If you're in the game and you refuse to do something like telling on somebody, you set yourself up for failure right there. So I realized like this is not a game I could really succeed in, because if anything ever happened to me, I'm not going to tell on such and such. But if something happened to such and such, 9 times out of 10, he going to push the way back to me. So I'm fighting a losing battle. So what can I do to get out of this? And I feel like I had to go through what I went through so I can have the validation to be able to talk to the kids a bit. Listen, man, I know what it's like to carry your pistol. I know what it's like to get 10, 20, 30 bricks in at a time. I've been there before, but I'm telling you, that's not going to work out. All of my friends who went to college, now they late in their careers, they actually got more established than me. I'm fighting right now, still fighting to try to get to where they at, but I had some good breaks in life. Once I came out, I made some good decisions. So I'm not like the average person who got that much prison in at the age I am.
Yeah. Man, what I heard from a lot of people that was in the street life is that not everybody's following those rules. It's very minority.
Yeah.
It's a minority of the people that's not snitching. Mm-hmm. Everybody snitching.
Yeah, they're telling on somebody. Yeah. You know what? And yeah, I was going to touch on that just a little bit, but no, he already did. But here's a question though. That light going off, what was one of the most pivotal points for you in prison? Because a lot of individuals don't really talk about that. They know, hey, they use that time to reflect, right? But what was it that happened inside that you say, you know what, listen, no, when I'm done, I'm done. Like, this is not the spot for me. Did you happen to have a mentor inside of there?
Well, actually, even when I was 17, when I went in there, man, a lot of older guys, they took a liking to me, man. They told me, like, look, you came here, boom, jump into school, get this. I ended up going to school it was a long line to get into the culinary arts school because everybody wanted to eat good. So the landscaping program, it wasn't no line. It was majority, white people in there. So I jumped in the landscaping program, learned how to cut down trees, do landscaping. But after I got my degree, I was in prison like another 6.5 years. So by the time I came home, I had forgot all that information. So when toward the end of my bit, I took a program called Turo. It teaches you how to be like a better father. So the guy who started the program, he actually came in. So when he came in to speak to everybody who had graduated, he told his story. Part of his story was he had been locked up for 11.5 years. So I'm like, whoa. So he said, a deputy warden at the prison actually retired to start working for him. So as I'm sitting in the crowd, I'm looking at him. I never forget. I'm like, dang, he got that Apple Watch on. They say you can talk in that watch. So this guy was just I said, man, if he got out of prison and became something, I believe I can get out of prison and become something. I'm like, he ain't no different than me. If he did something, I know I can do something. I got a story to tell. I'm gonna go out here and put it down. So I end up, like I said, I was working, doing the real estate, doing all that, but I'm just now finally coming around to where I'm able to really get out here and tell my story. Because in the beginning, I was fighting. I was grinding. I had to go. I'm working 24/7. But now I'm in a predicament, in a position to where I can start to go back and give back. I had a lot of family support coming home too. So that was people need that. If you got anybody in prison, know when they come home, the more help you can get them, the easier you're gonna make it for them to adjust to something else as opposed to going back to the things they used to do.
Oh my God. Yo, I'm about to give this back to you real quick. Harlan, but listen, everybody, if you are feeling this right now, give us a hashtag yes in the comments right now. Y'all just say yes, this makes sense, because it's not often we have individuals that gets on the den right like this and have conversations, transparent conversations, and they talk about the cradle of that situation all the way to the current situation outside of it. So please let us know if this is making sense to y'all.
Man, hey, first and foremost, because I want to talk about some other stuff, but I did corrections for like 15 minutes, right?
Okay.
And I gotta respect that, you know what I'm saying? It's just amazing to me that you did that amount of time, because I remember just looking like, man, I don't even know how they do this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just wild to me watching the daily lives of somebody that's in there. You know what I mean? But moving on, you did your time. You know what I'm saying? That's over with. You did your time. You had your reasons of wanting to do something different. So let's transition into what that was like. You know what I'm saying? First starting out, moving on in the business. Because did you try to get a job first, or did you go into business first? What did that look like when you said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done with the street life. I want to do my thing, so I can be proud of my son. My son can be proud of me. How did that look?
So I remember I had started it was called the Price Initiative, and I put a hashtag. I'm thinking like everybody gonna love that somebody working with the kids, telling their story, giving back. I put it in, I said I need some donations. Got not one single not one single donation. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, I got to get myself in a position to where I can really connect with people. So I started working janitorial. My brother had a janitorial, so we up every night cleaning buildings. So I'm not a night person, man. Like really, as soon as I get finished with this, it's my bedtime. So as we clean the buildings, I'm telling my brother, I said, man, somebody at home sleep right now, getting a cut of our money. I'm like, bro, we can start our own janitorial service. So my brother, which is my business partner, he said, man, but the only thing is, when you sign them contracts with people, they feel like they stuck with you. When they dealing with a company that got franchises, they can fire somebody, like give us somebody else. I'm like, yeah, man, we got to figure something else out. So one thing about life, man, sometimes you got to be able to separate yourself from the rest. That's the important part of the story. You got to be able to separate yourself from whatever the rest of the crowd doing. So a woman put up a post. She said, I'm looking for some cleaners to clean 2 apartment complexes. I think they had roughly 600, 700 units between the 2 of them. So she said, you see people, we charge $125, we charge this, do apartment, we charge this. I said, ma'am, we'll come and clean the apartment for free to show you what we can do. So she said, for free? Nobody has said that to me. She said, I don't owe you guys nothing. You don't owe us nothing. Let us come and do it. So my brother, my dad, and I, we went to clean this apartment. We knew what we was going to do. We knocked it out the park. She came, was like, wow, do y'all have a tax ID number? We said, no. She said, get a tax ID number, get some insurance, and you can start off cleaning these apartments. So that's how we got our start.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's the true definition of betting on yourself, man.
Betting on yourself.
Having confidence in yourself.
Yes. And also being a true hustler, man, because look, it's almost like that blue magic. Whatever you got, if you know it's good,
right?
Look, good. Am I lying? When I'm like, hey, if you know your joint is good, you're like, look, check it out. Watch this. You can have this. Boom. I'm like, wait a minute, you giving this away for free? No, you crazy. But no, real talk. That's dope, man. That's dope.
That's a Herman Brown line you just did. I'm the guy that's supposed to say that kind of
stuff. No,
not you, man.
Too easy, baby. Too easy.
So check this out, right? Like I said, we did the cleaning, right? We did the cleaning. So remember, one thing about leveling up, man, the more and more you separate yourself from other people, the easier it's going to be. So while we doing this cleaning, we cleaning apartments. The lady said, we have a lot of vacant. She's like, can y'all do a trash out? We said, what's a trash out? She's like, everything in there, just throw it away. Who can't do a trash out? Of course we can do that. So we started doing trash outs. Then she come back and said, can you guys paint? We was like, nah, we ain't really painters, but guess what? Our arms reach far. So within about a month of us just cleaning the apartments, we went from doing entire flips. So I tell my brother, I said, listen, bro, it's a lot of people that was in jail. People in jail, they come to the halfway house. In jail, they was only making $18 a month. So if we go down here and pay these guys $10 an hour, we gonna find electricians, we gonna find everything we need, and we can mark the price up according to, we only paying them $10 an hour. We might be able to charge these people $18-20 an hour, so we can double our money off whatever they do. Went down there, conducted interviews, hired 20-some guys, had some women working for us too. So we went from, in a month's time, we went from just cleaning apartments to flipping the apartments.
No, I don't want to take away from Larry, but talking about people in jail, man, I'm watching people make tattoo guns out of water bottles, ink pen, and the sink.
Yeah,
bro. But I saw some of the smartest people in jail.
Ingenuity, bro.
Like, these are engineers, dog. You know what I mean? I'm like, what are they doing?
I'm telling
They're making all kind of shit off in there,
bro. I'm telling you.
But that's what you're gonna come across, though. I gotta tell you this part too. I said, listen. We're going to get these people, they're going to get the work for, say, a month, maybe 2 months. But once they get back to whatever that vice is that sent them to prison, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be off. But we had that relationship with the halfway house. The woman know anybody coming here say anything about, carpentry, electricity, pump, whatever, she calling us. So we will only have like a 2-month run with these guys, maybe 3-month run. They go back to doing what they're doing. But we had a revolving door. So we was able to build a lot of equity up in our company off of these guys that was actually in prison, but they went from $18 a month to $10 an hour. They was happy at the end of the week.
Yeah.
It worked out for everybody.
Yeah. Dope. Go ahead, Larry. You got it, bro.
So Dwight, in listening to that story, where do you think the disconnect lies as far as you finding this out after you've done so many years in prison versus you finding this out early on in your life? That you could go this route and make this way of life legitimately without even having experience what you went through. And I know all things happen for a reason. I'm a big fan of that. I hear it, but I just hate that you had to sit down 17 years to figure out you could have been doing this 17 years ago.
Hey man, that is a great question. So listen, this where I come up with that, because I thought about things like that. So I hate to blame things kind of like on my upbringing, but I have to blame some things on my upbringing. My parents never went to a parent-teacher conference. Never. I remember one day, I met her in like the 9th grade. But my girlfriend, we had got like the progress reports where the teachers say this and that about you. So we come to the locker. She was like, look at my progress report. She's like, let me see yours. And we switch. I'm like, dang, you got like 1 B. She's like, my dad gonna be mad about that B. She was like, oh my God. I think I had like, 3-4 D's, 2 F's, maybe 1 C or something like that. And she's like, how you gonna take this? I'm like, what you mean take it? I'm about to sign this right now. Boo, put it in the locker, come back and get it tomorrow. So she's like, oh my God. I said, man, my parents don't care nothing about that. Like, they really don't care. So if my parents applied themselves in like right now, my kids' teachers know me. I go to parent-teacher conference, everything. So I'm a father in my kids' life. I actually take my 2 youngest sons and take them to school every morning. So if my father would have been in my life, I know I couldn't have met, in the hood, if you good at shooting that ball, you can run that football. The football fields be packed with parents. But when it comes down to how many parents do you see at the parent-teacher conferences? How many parents got a relationship with their kids? How many? I tell the kids when I speak to them, you might not have the physical attributes to make it to the NFL or the NBA, because sometimes size and things like that play into it. But guess what? Everybody got something right here. My daddy should have been pushing me in school. I could have became a lawyer. I could have became a doctor or something. But I didn't ever do any homework because my parents went on my back to do it. So I feel like a lot of things that go on with kids, sometimes it has something to do with how they're being raised. I really believe that it has something to do with the parents or the structure that's built around them. When they said back in the day, it takes a village to raise a child, I believe that.
You know what? That's so dope, man. That's so dope. So look, shout out to everybody that's watching right now. If you are sharing this and you had already shared, let us know. Put #shared. Okay, let us know. Check this out, man. And shout out to whoever this is right now. If you don't go to StreamYard and give them access, sorry, y'all, I can't say your name. But anyway, it says we need to reach the parents. Okay. we have to reach so many kids, right? So many kids that cry out for parents to be more involved or just to spend time with them. No, you're absolutely right, y'all. So it's super duper important, because I'm gonna tell you this, real talk. If it wasn't for the love of certain family members, I knew the streets was going to keep me. They had me, but they would have kept me, right? Because my mentors, and I talk about this all the time, my mentors at a certain age was drug dealers. You get what I'm saying? They was giving me knowledge. You get what I mean? From a masculine, right, from a masculine vein. So now I want to get this into you, brother, so we can transition to this. As you're talking to these kids, how important do you think it is to speak to the kids, period, but coming from a man, right? What do you think, how important do you think that is, talking to these kids today?
Frederick Douglass has a quote. It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. So I feel like when I go in here and speak to these kids, I'm giving them a mindset of somebody who made a lot of mistakes, and I don't want them to go through some of the challenges that I went through. And I feel like if any kid hear my story, like I tell people, if you love your kids, why not put me in front of your kids so they can hear my story? Right now, it's free. I got time right now. I'm doing it. But if that phone start to ring a lot, then that same thing that used to be free, it might change now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this story, you can put me in front of any kid and somebody gonna grab something out of it. Whether it's the peer pressure that comes, because for the night when I called my case, I've always been a leader. I turned into a follower for a small amount of seconds, and not only did it cost me time in prison, but it ultimately cost somebody their life. I could have made a different decision. I could have made a choice and told my co-defendants, nah, we ain't about to do that. We gone. I had the power to do that. But I said, you know what? I'm going to sit back. Go ahead. And while I sat back, it ended up causing everybody to go to prison that night. So I want to tell kids, if you could call me two kids, I passed my number to. Listen, if you with your friends, y'all about to do something wrong and you change your mind, tell them just let you out like it wasn't Boys in the Hood. I'm going to come get y'all. Call me 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because I know sometimes you might be in the realm of doing something. You can change your mind. You can have that, well, I don't want to seem like a punk. I don't want to seem like a suck. I want to show them that I'm down. Showing that you down can cost you a lot of time away from the streets. You got smart kids up at Ohio State last year. They going out here to try to buy some Adderall to stay up to take tests. They buying Adderall that was hit with fentanyl, end up dying. So it's not just in the Black community. It's kids need to hear this story. It's about decision. It's about choices. You leave out that front door, you make the wrong decision, they got somewhere they're going to put you.
Choices and consequences. Choices and consequences. Didn't we just talk about that, Herm?
Let me tell you something. This is the show that we need to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dwight. This is the show that we need to have. You the kind of person, you know what I'm saying, because of your story, and this is the kind of stuff we normally say at the end of the show, but I got to say it right now.
Yeah.
Because of your story and what you've been through, you know what I mean? You are the perfect example, perfect example of somebody that needs to be listened to so people don't make the same mistakes, right? So I want to know if you have any, stories about you speaking to these kids, and do you feel like you are making a difference? The reason why I asked that, I recently took a job as the manager for my local community center. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I see some kids that's probably gonna go down the same route that you did, have to learn the hard way. And I work every day with them, trying to talk to them, trying to get to them. But I only have a short amount of time with them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they got to go back home to their elements, right? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like some of them still gonna they're gonna have to feel it. They're gonna have to go through a rough life. You know what I'm saying? So give me an example of have you ever had that feeling that even though that you're in front of these people in front of these kids with your experience, that you still might not reach them, and how do you cope with that?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you speak to a room full of 10 people, if you able to touch 2 or 3 people, you did a job. You know what I'm saying? Because if you wasn't there, maybe you couldn't have touched those 2 or 3. It's a school in Cincinnati that we end up start working with. I told them, give me the 10 worst, the 10 most troubled boys, the 10 most troubled girls, because my partner Precious, she worked with the young ladies. So out of these kids, I seen one of them is a leader. And I told him, I said, man, you a leader, man. If you start to make some of the right decisions in school, these kids that's following you around here, they're going to start to do the same thing. So like I tell my kids, you know, you got leaders and you got followers. So when you talking to kids, sometimes a lot of people is being followers. But when you got the leaders, if you can get the leaders to point in the right direction, which I want to say, like, if in the community, if the young ladies start looking at the little boys that's hustling, like, I don't want to do nothing with you. I don't want to deal with you. You do what? You hustle. You sell what? Nah. So part of what need to be spoken to with the young ladies is y'all got to start looking at that as just a turnoff. Quit looking at it like he can buy you this purse, he can buy you this bag or whatever. Look at that as a turnoff. And some of them guys gonna get out the streets because some of them just in the streets because they're trying to impress the young ladies. So it's the whole thing, just culturally, how we've been raised. We got to talk to our kids and let them know it's not about the type. My son, my ninth grader, he wear the same exact kind of shoes I am. And when I broke this down to a parent, right, because one of my dudes, he always going about, man, I'm about to go buy my son some Louis Vuitton shoes. And I'm like, I tell, listen, don't get me wrong, I got all that designer stuff too. My son is in the ninth grade. He can fit my shoes right now. But I told somebody, I said, listen, say for instance, if I got a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes that was on sale for $500, I'm gonna say $300. If I got some Louis Vuitton shoes that cost me $300, I said, I would not let my son wear those shoes, even though my son got Jordans that might cost $350. So they said, well, why not? They cost the same price. It's what those Louis Vuitton shoes stand for. That's why he's not allowed to wear them. He can't even go in my closet because I got the shoes there and put them on because I want him to understand that it's something that come with that. Somebody can be, oh man, he got them shoes on, want to, put a gun in his face, rob him, take him, same thing that's killing people from Jordans back in the day. So it's one of them things as parents, we got to do better and put our kids in the mind frame of some of the things that they shouldn't have. And they need to understand, like I said, if I work hard, we end up fixing up a house, we might make 90,000. Last house we sold made 90,000 off of it. So of course I can go buy me a pair of designer shoes. Of course I can go buy me a pair of designer belt. You understand what I'm saying? But my son got to understand that if you're working at Wendy's when you get out of high school, you can't afford them things. So if I'm giving it to him right now when he's in high school, what he gonna do when he graduates from high school and I ain't buying it for him no more? Where am I pushing him to? Ask yourself that question.
Parents, get that fast money. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Where you gonna push them to? Because they ain't gonna be able to buy that stuff working at no McDonald's. You see guys in the hood standing at the bus, they walking, but got design on. It's like, bro, what you doing? Like, what we doing right here?
I'm hustling backwards.
Hustling backwards.
What we doing right here? You know,
that's my line. You're absolutely right. Hustling backwards. Absolutely. Yo, listen, everybody, if this is making sense to y'all, say dig it, right? If you can dig this, put in you can dig this, right? This is real talk. Y'all, like I said before, we don't get many individuals on to be this transparent, to talk about the things that you can change right now. And look, this is a shout out to everybody. Like, for example, Larry's out here coaching. You dig what I'm saying? The kids. And I know Herm, he's out here in the community. I listen to him at the community center. He tell me about these kids, right? And I know how it feels, though, Dwight. It's like when you see some of these kids, you're like, damn it, they right there. You know, they see it. You can see, hey, it's almost like that glow. You remember on the what
Last Dragon?
Yeah, Bruce Leroy, right? You got that glow. Like, little boy, you got it. You just don't know it. Like, look, they got the swagger and everything. But their attention is somewhere else. You dig what I'm saying? And so you want, somebody just said, again, it takes a village. It does take a village, but that means we all need, here's the key. We all need to be speaking the same message.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We all need to be speaking the same message. So it's more than just looking good. How's your health? How's your mental health? You get what I'm saying? How's everybody, how's all that? But look, I just want to say shout out to everybody that's doing it right now. And that's just talking that talk. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah. Hey, so Dwight, man, you hit the nail where you talked about peer pressure, right? So I'm gonna date myself and I want to be transparent. Coming out of St. Louis, city of St. Louis, city schools my entire life, right? Grew up in the projects here, all over St. Louis. When I got to high school, I made it a self check in myself that I know right and wrong, and I'm gonna steer away from the wrong, right? I had partners that I grew up with in the projects that would pull up on me every day after I get off the bus headed to the school. And you got that bandana wrapped around that steering wheel, you know what time it is, right? Stolo. And for those that don't know, it's a stolen car and they own some other stuff. Get in, man, get in. You talking about peer pressure. You talking about decisions. part of me was like, yeah, I should get in because I want to show that I'm still down. And then another part of me is like, nah, man, I already know what y'all on. I ain't on that. Like, I need to be my own leader. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader, right? So I dealt with that my entire 4 years in high school and always erred on the side of caution. I didn't get in. I got folks doing 25 to life in prison right now. And I just want to go back to you and go back to the message that you're giving to these kids, that all it takes is a split second in decision making, even though you know right from wrong. But you're listening to the music, you listen to your environment, and you feel like you got to show that you're down when you can just be your own self and be your own leader. And sometimes peer pressure can take you under and give you 11, 6, and 5 years in prison that you could have, if you just thought for 1 second, these cats right here, they gonna rat everybody out in prison because they want to shorten their sentence. And now we all sitting in this mother. Right. Because one person got caught.
So let me I wish, in hindsight, I definitely wish I would have made some different decisions, but obviously I didn't. So now what pushes me is say I had to go through what I went through so I can have a validation to be out here working with the kids so they can accept where I'm coming from. If you read it in the book, they might look at it like he don't got no validation. He don't know what I'm going through. So all the things I went through, I'm trying to put it for the betterment right now. I'm trying to use that. That's my pushing point. So people can reach out to me, have me come into, rec centers, wherever I'm I talk to kids one-on-one, whatever I got to do. I feel like that's what God has in store for me for the rest of my life. That's ultimately how I feel. So to answer your question, a little more, it just like, when in the hood, I never seen any, businessmen wasn't like looked up to. Oh, this person own this person own that. It's like, if you wasn't an athlete, it's like, how do I get out the hood? If I can't, shoot the ball like this, or if I can't play football, what's my dream? What's my goals? What's my aspiration? How do I get out the hood? So right now, when I'm talking to kids, that's what I'm telling them. It's other things you can be. We got enough rappers. We got enough it's enough athletes, but we need more electricians. We need more plumbers. We need more people learning this. If my parents knew about the game of real estate, which because of social media, people finding out about it, but I know people right now who parents was messing with real estate and they brought them into the game. So I'm teaching my kids, even though my kids might not want to do what I'm doing in real estate, but guess what? If something happened to me and what's being left to them in the trust, they can take that and do whatever they want to do with it. We don't know about credit. My father and mama, they was putting cable bills and stuff like that in my name. You know what I'm saying? But my kids, I'm piggybacking my kids onto my credit card so they can come into the game with a decent credit score. I know she can't go out and buy a Rolls Royce when she turns 18 because she ain't gonna have the income to say that. But she gonna come into the game with a 700 credit score because I know how important credit is nowadays. My parents didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's your job to become a better parent to your children than your kids were to you. Now, depending on what, like I say, man, I used to look at my daddy, man, they in there smoking weed. I don't drink. People like, why you don't smoke? I'm like, I can't afford it. What you mean you can't afford it? Because I want to leave my kids something, man. It ain't about the party no more. My life is about making somebody else's life better right now. And like you say, the community, we got to come together. But I'm gonna be riding with my kids, listening to Lil Baby. I'm gonna be in here talking about you, how they disrespect women. How can I listen to this song with my daughters in the car? Now, don't get me wrong. If they listen to it in their room or when they with their friends, that is what it is. But I cannot listen to a song where they disrespecting women like that with my kids around. It don't even make sense if you think about it.
Come on, man. Hold on. See, I'm so glad you said that. You know what? Hey, you know why I'm so glad you said that? Because it sounds better coming from somebody else. Bro. You dig what I'm saying? And we know that as men, as fathers, right on, and especially having daughters, right? It's ridiculous. But now here, I want to transition to this, all right? And shout out to the friends and family for the late great Offset, all right, with Migos, right? Let's forget, right? Lest we forget that the young rapper, okay, in a situation. Even though he's at the height, maybe the highest part of his career, you see, but even though his financial situation changed, it's, his circumference didn't necessarily change. Okay. I think it's important to me and Herman and other brothers. We talk about this all the time. We may have small debates about it, but I mean, again, it starts with trying to save the world and fix the world problems, right? But I think that what we can agree upon is that when your mindset change, so should, theoretically speaking, your zip code to a degree. Because when your mindset change, you start to acquire different things that individuals that mindset hasn't changed, they won't be able to acquire them. So my question to you is, how important is it that you explain to individuals once you start to think different, you'll walk different, and to make sure your surroundings is conducive to where you're going?
Hey man, listen, I'm so glad I met y'all, man. I mean, that is a great, listen what I'm saying, that's a great question. So, like I told my brother, man, when we start to do what we're doing now, giving back, speaking to the kids, it's going to be a lot of parents that's going to be upset because everybody not going to agree with the things we saying because people don't like, the change. When I was in the hood and, I had started to do well for myself, somebody told me like, man, you now graduated from this. You got to get up out of here. People looking at you, it's that crabs in a bucket syndrome. Oh man, how he do this? How he got that? How he escaped? So now you got to distance yourself. Much as you might not want to, you have to distance yourself because when things about your life change, things about your life have to change. So I said, you know what? I don't want my kids coming outside and, I did this to her last night. I did that. No disrespect, no respect for kids, no respect for women. I don't even go to the same barbershops I used to go to because of what guys would come in there and talk about on Saturday morning. So guess what? I moved my kids out to the suburbs, like the real suburbs, big $300,000 homes. I want my kids to see this every day. I drive past some of the houses and be like, wow, I wonder what they do. I'll be mesmerized. So I want my kids to have that same vision, that same focus. And guess what? I tell them the things that they need to do in order to grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? You can have this same thing that these people got out here because I'm raising you right. My daddy had me thinking I could sell dope into the suburbs, but that's not true. That's going to either have you dead or in the grave somewhere. Hopefully you'll be in jail. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being dead, if you stick to that game, because that's one constant about it. You know what I mean? So when I think about leaving the hood, man, you got to, as you start to do better, you got to get away. We know so many people that have been killed for staying in the hood. It's like you work that hard. You don't work that hard to stay the same. When I grew up, we'd be out in the back playing, fighting, playing football. So when I look at my kids, like they don't even go outside. And they don't go outside or nothing. They don't fight with kids, none of that stuff. But I actually raised them to where they don't have to come up the same way that I came up. It's a difference. And that's a good thing. My sons don't even play football or nothing, man. But guess what? One of them want to be a meteorologist. The other want to learn computer coding. And I'm like, where y'all? Because I raised them in a different light than what I came up in. And that's what you got to do as a parent. And nowadays, if you don't know the things to do, when you got that phone, the phone is a tool. That tool you got in your hand, you can follow the right people on Instagram. And it's people on Instagram that'll help you, show you things that your kids can learn. Don't feel bad if you don't know it. It's one of them things where if you don't know, but you got that tool in your hand, you can learn things nowadays.
There you go. See?
So I gotta break this down because this came up time and time again on this show. And some of y'all might not know it, some of y'all might do. But because the streets is a short stop, either you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump stop. Y'all know that one? I freaked that. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
I did that. You know what I mean?
But, man,
you know what I mean?
No.
But check this out, Dwight. On a more serious tip, even though I did kill that. I'm gonna give myself my own props.
Who did? No.
But check this out, Dwight. What you about? You 43, about 44 now?
45.
45.
Yeah.
45, Dwight, with all your experience. What do you tell 17? If you had to sit down with 17-year-old Dwight, how does that conversation go from your end?
I always have kids break down the meaning of instant gratification, delayed gratification.
Boom.
So instant gratification, you got it right now. You looking good, you shining. You got the most money, you got the chicks on your team. But what happened when something go wrong? Everybody can see stuff when it's going right. What in the event when something go wrong? What you gonna do when it go wrong? What you gonna do when they bust in that door and they got them pistols in your face? What you gonna do when one of the chicks you thought like you setting you up so you can get robbed? But guess what? Delayed gratification, your friend right there, he got on some. So I heard somebody say on Instagram, it's like revenge of the nerds. all the cool guys, I was one of the cool guys in high school. I was one of the cool guys. But then all the cool guys end up going to jail or being killed or something like that. The nerds, that's the ones that was like the Bill Gates, the what's my man name? The Facebook, Zuckerberg. Those was the nerds. You know what I'm saying? Or you can be somebody to just go to college and you start to, you know, you find you a career. You graduate from college, you start you a job. Like, you know, gentlemen like you guys, like, you know, was in the service. It's like that's the delayed gratification. It starts to come later on in life. So that's what I want to tell the kids right now. You shining, you doing good. But watch how many of your friends things gonna start to happen to them. It's just gonna happen, man. That's the way it's cracked up. You got police that's out here every single day. They trying to catch you to make one mistake. You thinking you doing everything right. You can't never be doing everything right. A lot of time you inebriated. You ain't doing everything right. They studying to get you. So that's a short time. That's something that got like such a short leash on it. Why would you involve yourself in it? Get with some, like I say, man, some of these guys is intelligent. You know, you can go to school, you can go to trade. Everybody not built for college. Some of them entrepreneurs. Like you might really be an entrepreneur. And I got, you know, a series of questions I ask them certain things because it's hard. You know what I'm saying? In a room full of kids, once I say how hard it is, it's going to be probably one or two in that room be like, in spite of all that, I still got that in me. I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's when I know I got, okay, you the truth right there. You really might be meant for this game. Last one to eat on the totem pole when you're on your own business. Some weeks I don't get to eat. I got to make sure my employees got theirs. So it's a grind. But guess what? They can do it, man. And I'm in their ear, constantly in their ear.
Whew. Fire.
Listen. We're doing another question. We're gonna close this out because I can go either way.
Oh yeah. I ain't even looking at the time, yo.
I can go either way you want to go.
Yo, man, listen, man, yo, hold on, man. Look, real quick, y'all. I don't think y'all realize, though, we have a lot of different guests on here. You get what I'm saying? Yes, it was powerful. Yes. Shout out to you, though, brother, and also to Precious. I met both of y'all when we was at the speaking event, right? And y'all both have powerful messages, and you know, agreeing to come on these platforms is super dope. Being transparent, you get what I'm saying? So normally we just go and we asking all these questions, but when it's on point, man, I just miss the time, man. Boy. So, yo, I'm gonna give you final word, though, Larry. Go ahead, bro.
All right, for final word, hey, listen, brother Dwight, we had Project Pat on the show. We had the real Ricky Ross on the show. Yeah. So we're just trying to show you where we go with this. And your story is one of a million, but the way that you present it, the era you come from, the part of the country you come from, it still is relatable, right? And most of us come from that same environment, but it just doesn't sound the same because we didn't go to prison. Like I didn't go to prison. I was a choice away from going there, but I never went to prison. But I can tell you all about the folks around me, cousins, uncles, everybody that went to prison. Nobody wants to hear that for real because I don't have that credibility. But what I want to go and say to you is to continue your journey, continue to do what you do, continue to share your story. I'm gonna always share mine. None of the guys here on the show is gonna do the same thing. You know, coming from St. Louis, man, I didn't seen it all. I didn't heard it all. You know, I didn't even know I was poor until I got into college. Swear to God, didn't know the hood was the hood until I got to college. I thought this was life, right? So that's where I come from, and I'm telling you, and I can hear you, and I can listen to you, and I can listen to you all day because I feel like we wanted the same. You know, different area, but we wanted the same. So keep sharing your story, and we're gonna continue to do what we do, and we just got to kind of be that influence to our youth because at the end of the day, all we got is who we are and trying to show them a better way.
Right on. Yes.
Hey,
right.
Check it. I'm gonna need Larry to speak for himself because I did a weekend in jail. You know what I mean? So
if you don't shut up,
no, that's the truth. Goddamn, don't minimize my shit now.
Difference between
don't minimize my shit. No, 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Me and Dwight, we share a common ground.
You went to drunkards. You get what I'm saying?
No, I was behind them damn bars, man. Eating that fucking stale ass ham. So don't play, dog. Don't play. Hold on. Let me get past that. Larry, speak for yourself, man. I was behind them bars for a weekend.
Time out.
I mean? Check it out. You know what I mean? So I know what he's talking about for a little bit. You know what I mean? See, y'all minimizing my pain. I don't like that.
Shut up,
I don't like that. But check this out, man. Dwight, you are the guest. You definitely are the guest that I've been asking for. You know what I'm saying? Because your story resonates, man. And your story also resonates to the fact that we have a lot of work to do in the community. And I love the fact that you didn't give up, man. 17 years in, I always wonder what life would be like for people that been locked up behind the bars that long. And I love the fact that you didn't quit. You know, I love the fact that you said, you know what? I wasted enough time and I'm about to make something happen. Thank you for being you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for setting the example. And thank you for being a person that I can point to and say, you know what? He did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm going to, when we hang this up, I'm going to find your information, get your information. I want to be able to point to you and be like, he did it. He went through the work. He went charged for murder, dope dealing, all that. He did it. So what's your problem? Thank you for being you. Thank you for being that story, you know what I'm saying? And continuing on. Me and you share a common bond, man. We both behind them bars, man. Much respect. Appreciate, man.
Stop it, bro. Look,
we did it. Y'all didn't do it. We did it.
Bro, you was not in CB4, bro. Stop it. Listen. Yo, but look, real talk, brother. Wait, before I give my last, I want to give you the opportunity, man. I give you a whole minute, man. Speak your truth. You can speak to the Den. Also, while you're doing that, everybody that's in the Dan Alliance Pride circle, y'all give us a hashtag if this was a show, right? Just give us yes. Hashtag yes, this was a show. If this is what you like, if this is the type of energy, right? And if you really appreciate this show, go ahead. Mr. Dwight, I'm gonna give you the floor, bro. You got it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna touch on this, right? You know, one thing about life, you know, I came up, I said every nice campaign has a slogan. So we got the slogan, stay down till you come up. No matter what you're going through in life, it ain't gonna be easy, but you gotta know everybody got a story behind it. It's gonna be hard. But I tell my partners, if we jump on I-75, 71, start walking down south, eventually we're gonna get to Miami. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but if somebody say on the way, I want to stop in Gatlinburg, them chalets look pretty nice. They ain't gonna never know what Miami got for us. So once you put your mind to something, you gotta look at it like each day is a new beginning. A chance to do better, a chance to do more. As long as you keep that mindset, I'm gonna stay down till I come up. Ain't nothing gonna be there to stop you. Nothing gonna be able to stop you. I appreciate you guys for having me on your platform. I hope my message was relevant to some people who need to hear it. Anybody got any youth, rec centers, schools, anything? Kids need to hear what I got to say. Call me. Like I say, this was an hour, man. I still got, you know, multiple stories about kids learning what type of person they is. I got a main story about the guy who started the Ring camera. Just you got to identify with what type of person you is. Even talking about, you know, business, what my brother and I do. He got his strengths, I got my strengths. Once you pair up and team up, it ain't no stopping it. So that's what I got for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all.
My man. Hey. All right. I saw it. All right, y'all gotta let me know. This is the last call to action. Y'all let us know if y'all want a hashtag part 2 with this. Okay, I think that there's some joints that need to, we got some more gems to drop. And I think it's also important, man. First of all, I'll go back what's important after I let you know how much I appreciate you being on. And I appreciate the audience really tuning in and staying engaged with us right on. But the thing is that it's important, extremely important for us brothers to have conversations like this. Yo, it is important. For some reason, I don't know what it is. It's some type of freaky thing in the air that these types of conversations, this type of real talk is being overshadowed by mess. You get what I'm saying? It's being diluted by weapons of mass distraction. You dig what I'm saying? So it's important for us to have conversations about individuals that has persevered outside of that has been a part of the crack epidemic and working in different facets of it, falling victim in followership, and then showing what leadership truly looks like. You dig what I'm saying? We're not hearing much of that. If you don't know, we're hearing about what's anti-Semitic, right? We're hearing about who got money and who don't. We're worried about who banging who and who not, right? But we're not talking about who's building the streets. We're not talking about how can we connect with each other and do things like that. So, brother, I appreciate you for being in the den. Sir. Yes, sir. So listen, man, look, on behalf of everybody, man, everybody that's watching right now, y'all, this is what we do, real talk, and we love it. Not only do we love it, this is a responsibility, believe it or not. This is a responsibility, not just being a father, not just being a man. It's a responsibility, because the things that you go through in life, it's not about what happened to you, it's what happened for you. And thank you again, brother, for being on. Don't go nowhere, man. We're about to sign on off. But ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed yourself, again, make sure that you check out that review in the bottom. Right, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Y'all let us know if this was the show for you. Okay, if this was the show for you, you let us know. Let us know if you can dig it. Let us know if there's anything that you would like to see, if there's anything that you would like us to talk about in the near future. But until then, you enjoy your weekend. Right on, right on. Later.